So in the last session, we talked about ecological theories, and this session, I just want to share my own experiences with ecological transition, specifically in the rural areas in China, where I actually conducted a field study. So there are two case studies that I was involved in. The first is roses, and the second is panda. I'm just gonna extrapolate how you can achieve similar ecological transitions elsewhere, and how this process kind of looks like. So the first village we're going to talk about is the Dinchi village, and the second is the Mouse Ray village. So as you can see, the first one they focus on panda as tourism, and the second one focus on rose cultivations. So we're first going to look at Mouse Ray village's roses. So this is actually me picking up roses at the location. So the path of ecological transition for this village is that so first of all, Maoshui village is located in the Shaojing County in Sichuan, and it transformed from deep poverty to prosperity by switching from growing potatoes and peas to cultivating roses. So why does this switch bring prosperity? The reason is that the village actually in 2011 discovered that wild boars do not disturb wild roses, which inspired the idea of replacing potatoes with roses. So originally, when they planted potatoes, a lot of animals would disturb it, and the potato would be just like stolen by the animals. But the roses, which have wild roses, which have a lot of thick those thick like branches alongside the roses, they will kind of act as deterrents against these animals. And in 2019, supported by the rose industry, all 3,260 households with 11K people in 88 poor villages in the country were lifted out of poverty, leading Shaojing to exit the list of impoverished counties. So, by knowing your ecological makeup in your specific region, you can actually take advantage of those in ecologically friendly ways and then turn them into a profit that benefits everybody while preserving the environment, which are, if you remember, the key tenets of ecological economics. So how do we replicate this success elsewhere? This is kind of like a formula, pretty generic one. So obviously there are specific accommodation to specific regions, but here is like a general takeaway. The first is discovery. So in the case of Mouse Ray Village, they discovered their plateau terrain is very suitable for rose cultivation, and also boars interference is something that they actively try to prevent. And the second is experimentation, like you conduct trial cultivation and then you just try it out. And the next is that in general you need subsidy. So there was a 50 million yuan, which is a Chinese currency, has been devoted into supporting the rose industry chain. And there's also has to be publicity. For example, in the there's a lot of rose valleys and expo parks that has different beautiful roses that attract tourism. And there's also media coverage, like the CCTV and the state government in China actually actively promoted this through things like documentary and news. And the next step is marketization. So there's a shift from government assisted to market driven focus. So originally, the government is heavily involved, but then after this period has gone through, there's more market independence. So you're more likely to form partnerships with other businesses. And this trend of independence continues, and then you come to the problem of scale. So rose cultivation in the village expanded from one village to 64 villages, which helped a third of the county's impoverished population to escape poverty. So these are some villages of the actual locations, and the roses they picked up are all in the boxes, and you see a lot of seniors are they actually pick up the roses in very very fast and elegant ways, I would say. And let's talk about panda now. So in another village, which is very both villages are very close by, the Denshi village is where panda was discovered originally, and the village has a rich diversity of wildlife, which has become a key attraction for tourists. In recent years, through advertisement and state investment, there are new restaurants, hotels, businesses open up in the villages. Even those very luxurious hotels. When I was at the location, I saw one which is very very nice. And former mining has stopped, forestry logging plants stop. Villagers who used to work in these industries are looking to transition their livelihood to to fit into a lot of like tourist like occupations. Here are some photos. So that's actually one of the pandas, and it's kind of introducing that panda. And this is some of the reserves you can actually live here. Um, yeah, that's just some old photos where panda was discovered when they were still, interacting with people. Like you can literally like walk out of your house like and then see a panda. You can't really do that now, but historically, when panda was discovered and a few generations that follow, you actually could do that. So that's all the presentation, and hopefully you find something meaningful out of it. And then obviously a lot of the things I've generalized can be replicated elsewhere in other indigenous reserves, not only in China but just across the world, who are struggling with poverty and do have a lot of like natural resources, and they shouldn't really be be like used in a way that harms the environment, like mining or like deforestation. But then they could actually be maneuvered and then be used in a way that actually foster ecological growth, where you achieve ecological benefits while achieving economic benefits at the same time. So thank you very much for listening.